Welcome back to the Toyota Racing Series. We started this series off with the GR Cup, where we followed around Jade and Weston as they got more experience in their racing career in the same way that Toyota likes to offer it to a lot of their drivers, getting them some more track time early on and setting them up for success. Then we moved on to a lot faster, a lot louder cars over at NASCAR, where we followed around John Hunter Nemechek, talked a little bit about how Toyota was able to help him rebirth his racing career, as well as following some other Toyota drivers around as they raced around Charlotte Motor Speedway down in the south. Then we headed west for Formula Drift, where we spent some time with Ken Gucci. That guy's dream since he was a kid was to become a professional Toyota racing driver. And we got to watch him live out that dream as he shredded tires along the Irwindale Speedway. And last up, we're here in Pomona, California for some of the loudest and fastest cars in the world for drag racing. Hope you guys brought hearing protection.
The biggest misconception is like the amount of focus it takes. Like, you're worn out. You're not physically worn out, you're mentally worn out just because you're so focused on getting a good reaction time off the starting line, keeping the thing stuck down the center of the groove. Just there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize until they actually get out here and experience it themselves.
So this sport is all about focus, mental game, mental prep. What he's doing right now is important to the race because he's already getting his mindset ready for that reaction time, keeping the car in a straight line, and getting down the track as fast as possible. It's all about focus.
Speed does not matter.
Okay.
When it comes to qualifying, we're based off ET.
Okay. What's ET?
Elapsed time.
Okay.
So the time from it crosses the beam at the starting line to the time it crosses the beam at the finish line.
Okay.
So when you see the scoreboard reading 380s for a funny car, that's the ET. Like the only time the speed matters in qualifying. If two cars run the same exact ET, then it's the tiebreaker is speed.
Top speed that they hit? Okay.
Rupert off the throttle, 387, 326, J.R. Todd.
It's like when I first got into a car when I was 18 years old, I feel like it took probably 50 to 75 runs before like my mind slowed it down for me, where I could feel more what's going on with the car, understand where you're at on the track. Like before that, you think you know what's going on until finally like your mind slows it down for like, yes, it's still fast. You're going 300 plus miles an hour, but it's really hard to explain. But you hear, NFL quarterbacks say like the game slowed down for them. Like that's kind of like what we experience in the car. A good driver, I'd say, tries to pride themselves on their reaction times, getting off the starting line ahead of their opponent. And that could be a matter of a thousandth of a second that you win or lose a race by. After that, you gotta turn your focus to keeping this thing stuck in the middle of the groove. When I say the middle of the groove, the lane is so wide, but in the middle of it, that's where the optimum traction is. So if you get 6 inches one way out of that groove, you're gonna lose traction and spin the tires, and the crew chiefs, like they're gonna be pissed at you and say, why can't you keep this thing straight? So that's the amount of focus that we're talking about that the average person might not understand until they actually get in the car and go out there and do it themselves. Like, yeah, I don't know how you guys do this.
Jared told us after his first qualifying run that for this one, his goal would be anywhere in the low 3.8s, and he'll be looking really, really good for the championship run tomorrow. So he's about to take his last pass here. We're hoping the cold weather's gonna give him an edge with some boost and see if he can hit that low 3.8 time he's going for. It's about to go.
JR's off the throttle. Alexis got over by the wall and went 389 at only 308. J.R. Todd was on a pretty good looking run early and started spinning the tires.
Second qualifying run is in the books. That is it for today. We're gonna move on to the championship racing day tomorrow, which is what really counts. JR got both his runs in today, and his team is tearing down his car and getting it rebuilt after that last pass that he just had. It seemed like there was something wrong with the car, but it's nothing these guys can't figure out. They got the whole engine torn apart in less than 5 minutes. We'll see you guys on race day.
These are the quickest and fastest accelerating cars on the planet. They make around 12,000 horsepower, 0 to 3.8 seconds in 330 plus miles an hour in 1,000 feet. I mean, we'll go 0 to 100 in less than a second. That's how quick these things are accelerating.
This is what $75,000 worth of engine looks like, with each cylinder in this V8 producing over 1,400 horsepower. Each one has 2 injectors, consumes 15 gallons of fuel every 3 seconds, and requires 900 horsepower to drive this 60-plus pound boost supercharger on top. It doesn't get any faster than this.
I mean, these things, they run on dollars. That's why we're not testing every week and, you know, making practice runs or anything like that, because say like you go out there and smoke the tires and go 10 feet down the track, or you make a full run and go 3.85 seconds at 330 miles an hour. These guys come back after the run and tackle this thing. It's like organized chaos watching them work on it, taking, you know, the supercharger off, taking the cylinder heads off, pulling the clutch out and cycling in, you know, new pistons and rods, a different set of cylinder heads.
This is every run.
Every run, no matter what. And like they can do that within an hour. Anytime you're making that crazy amount of horsepower, like you have to go through and check and make sure like every part is right. You know?
Yeah. The guys are working on his car right now. We're going to get it started up. Everybody here has hearing protection. These cars are insanely loud. The other thing to note is, as he's mentioned before, these cars have to go through an entire rebuild after every single pass. They have so much horsepower. They got to redo the cylinders. They got to replace the clutch. It's stuff that a normal car shop would spend months doing that they do in 1 hour. We're going to hear how loud it is in a second. I wish you guys could hear it. You're just going to have to look at the look on everybody's faces because it's earth-shattering. First cold start in, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's over the top. And not only is it really loud, but it also, the exhaust fumes from Nitro, if you've never experienced it, it burns really bad. That's why the entire crew here wears gas masks. You know who doesn't have gas masks? Our film crew, which is why we were running the other direction after about 6 seconds of dealing with it, because your eyes, your throat, your nose, everything starts to burn really fast. And that's because this is full race car burning some crazy fuel. And it wasn't even running, it was just idling.
J.R. Todd now just thinking about one thing. He does not want his season to end this early. The winner of this gets to come back and try to figure out how to slow down the Proc Rocket. But you know what? The loser gets to start thinking about Gainesville next year.
And Cruz's car gives up traction. Meanwhile, J.R. Todd's goes 385.8, 330 miles an hour. A very sporting run here, but only a single parachute as Todd tries to haul it down.
Let's talk about how you felt through it.
I mean, you're just focused on getting the win, man. We're glad to get by that round. It's been a while since we won a round out here, so got a tough matchup next round. Just focused on doing the job again.
Talk to me about how Toyota's been able to be a part of your racing career, maybe help you out with training or advancement or opportunities or anything like that.
The Toyota's been a huge asset to us, especially winning the championship here in 2018. Toyota, they have a couple engineers that come to the track with us each weekend that are reading the track conditions. They relay that back to the crew chiefs to tell them what they think, how quick and fast we should be able to run. They're relaying the weather conditions. Just a lot of different factors that go into make this thing go down the track. And then over the years, we came out with the GR Super Body, which I got to play a little part in that. They were one of my perspective on what I could see inside the car, what I thought that I wanted to see more or less, just things like that. And like to see the production of this thing, like where it came from, the Toyota Camry to the GR Super, it's cool to be like a small part of that.
We've mentioned focus and mental prep several times so far, and that's because the race really starts before the race. Now, JR is walking through that mental prep right now because this is single elimination. The stakes are really high. Now, the crew's getting the vehicle ready right now because their prep is just as important as JR's mental prep. Every fraction of a second counts, especially in single elimination. If he's able to hit that target time of 3.8 to 3.85, he should be able to advance to the semifinals and then hopefully the finals. Our guy JR is lining up for his next pass here.
Brock's car, the front end dancing around, and Austin Brock goes across the finish line 385 at 332.26 miles an hour. J.R. Todd goes 390 in the loss. Bruno has more.
Milliseconds. That is how precise this sport is. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to move on to the semifinals, but man, that was fun. That is how close at 0.05 off from being able to advance. Everything counts in this sport. All right, JR, weekend of a lot of racing. Talk to me. How do you feel overall?
Bummed that, lost early. You never want to lose early. You want to win every race, but we know that's not going to happen. But all in all, our car ran pretty well this weekend. We made some good runs here this weekend in Pomona that probably give us some good motivation during the off season for 2025. But yeah, just wanted to win really bad for these guys. They've been working really hard all season long, and we started off the season with a win there in Gainesville, and really wanted to finish the year on a high note here in Pomona. But Team of the day, just got to thank everybody that's been sticking with us, especially Toyota. But yeah, once again, just got to thank Toyota, especially for having you guys out here following us around, giving those who aren't familiar with drag racing kind of a sneak peek into what we do, especially behind the scenes. And,
So much fun.
And yeah, if you haven't been out to a race, make sure you come out here and check us out.
Please do. Thanks so much, JR. It's so nice following you.
Thank you.
Take care. Where do you see the future of the NHRA? Where you see it going?
I feel like it has a big future. Like our hardest thing is getting people to the track. TV, they do a great job showcasing the sport and all that, but you have to be here and see it in person to feel it, smell it, to understand, what 12,000 horsepower is like. And it's hard to get that through the TV camera.
You're right. And we're trying to capture that with this documentary, but honestly, I tell people when I first came to NHRA, I had no idea what to expect. I was kind of like, all right, so they're driving in a straight line, whatever. When you're down there and you feel, you're right, when you feel the sound hitting you, it's insane. And the Nitro feel burns your eyes and everything. It's
absolutely.
It's crazy.
When we hit the throttle, when you're on the starting line watching, it's almost like a small earthquake,
Yeah.
It's all your senses.
Yeah.
People that have never been here before, you see them jumping or crying, just things like that. Another unique thing about NHRA that, the average person might not realize, that every ticket that you get is a pit pass. Most motorsports, you can't go to the track and walk right in the pits and watch the crews work on the car, or go up and meet the driver. You have to have a special, pass for that. I always compare it to going to an NFL game and going into the locker room and meeting the player. It's you can't do that. Here, it's so accessible. That's the unique thing about our sport. I think that's what makes our fans so passionate.
Like JR was saying, this level of access in the NHRA where the fans can come close, every pass that you get in NHRA equals pit pass access. That's like if you were to go to the NFL and get a locker room pass. It's not something that the NFL offers, but it is something you get in drag racing. You can get up close to the cars, meet the drivers, meet the crews, hear the cold starts, and that usually equals more fanatical fans. If you're still on the fence about coming and watching one of these races, take it from me as somebody that has never done this before. I wasn't really into it until I saw the first car go down the strip. That is all it took. And I felt it literally in my chest, and the volume was so extreme. I looked around the room and other people that had never seen this before, everybody was just silent in awe at how fast these cars are and how loud they are. It's something you just can't get through the camera. You have to be here. A huge shout out to Toyota for being involved in so many different types of motorsports. They really cater to all different types of fans. And you might even be like us and you try all of them and find out that there's something for you at each different type of event, because they're really all so different. It doesn't matter what type of car you're into, they have something for you, but you'll never know unless you actually show up to the event. You have to get out to the racetrack, because watching this series, although it's a lot of fun, is not gonna do it justice. You have to be here. You have to feel the engine starting. You have to smell the exhaust. You have to see the rubber slinging off the tires in Irwindale at the Formula Drift track. You have to feel the rumble of NASCAR as it just doesn't stop for hundreds of laps. You have to be there at the GR Cup when you watch racers start their career, and that sparkle in their eye when they're just like us, growing up watching movies or playing with toy cars or playing the car video games that got us all interested in this in the first place. So get to the track, get involved in the events, and you might find something that is just for you.